Right. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? We're going to start the stream a little bit early, like 4 minutes early. Oh, I am hearing myself. Why am I hearing myself? There we go. Turn that stream off. I don't need to hear that stream. I don't need to watch that stream. Right, how is everybody? I hope everyone's had a fantastic day. I hope everyone has had a fantastic week, in fact. My week has been... Is that soft jazz? It is stream beats. I guess it's soft jazz. Hey Jack, hey Omegand. Sounds like it, yes. How is everyone doing? It's been a while since we had a V1.6 stream. Yes, we're gonna get back at V1.6. Brisket has been annoying me to get back at the work. So we're gonna start going, start finishing the X-axis off today. We're gonna do bits and bobs with the Z-axis and bits and bobs with the Y-axis. And then we're also gonna start, I've also got to do some tuning on Milo. So we might do some milling today as well. Just some verifications to make sure that my steps per millimeter are correct, and my I have to run through the MOS wizard again, because if you change steps per millimeter, you have to change where your tool position is, how you have to double check your accuracy with the tool probe, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're going to do that. Also, someone volunteer in chat so that we can get the giveaway going. Right, the giveaway is, we've still got, I think, 4 more in the UK to give away and 2 more to give away in the States. Win yourselves a roll of what is it? A roll of filament, a roll of Ambrosia, Filament of the Gods, right, from West 3D, sponsored by West 3D and by Desktop Machine Shop here in the UK. Jose Rivera, am I getting? Is it Jose? It is Jose, isn't it? How you doing, bud? How is everyone doing? What is everyone up to whilst I get ready, whilst I get some stuff on the table? What has everyone been up to this week? Jormungand, how was your trip? I know last stream you said that you were going on a trip somewhere. Do we need to re-sign up for the giveaway? I wouldn't want to double enter. Yes, you need to re-sign up. So I cleared the link down in the description. Should still work. I used it earlier today, and I reopened it and got rid of all the old names, so you should just be able to re-enter, and it worked fine. What did I need to do? I need to get some tools. That's it. So this next part we did already last V1.6 stream. Goat Locker Creations. Is there a link to enter the giveaway? Yes, it's down in the description. It's at the top of the description. Well, near the top of the description. I'll put a clock on ready if you need it. Yes, please. 10 minutes. 10 minutes for the first giveaway, please. Charles White, do we need to... Yes, we've already done that. I've already read that one. Never mind. Yeah, so the bits that we're doing now are the supports that we did last stream. The only issue I had with the old ones was they were bumping into the rail carriages slightly, so I've lowered them by 0.5 millimeter. And hopefully they'll now work. Right. Ooh. Get the Ugga Dugga gun. Perfect. So Jormungand's got stream going, the stream timer going. What has everyone been up to this week? Has anyone had any crazy projects? Because for me, it's been a hell of a week. In some good ways, some bad ways. I had a meeting with... Hey, Thomas. I had a meeting with Dave from LDO. Dave, if you don't know who Dave is, he does the kind of production side of things, whereas Jason's more the front-facing operation. Dave does the kind of behind the scenes. If you've been to Smurf or Earth or whatever, you've met Dave before, and you've been to the LDO booth, you've met Dave before. So had a meeting with him. It was a bit doom and gloom. It was a bit good in some ways, a bit doom and gloom in some others. Basically, V1.5 didn't do as well as they'd hoped. in sales. So they're cautious about V2. Not a bad thing. It does mean that they can probably do limited kit runs, same as they did with Casa, rather than full kit runs. We did try and tell them that it's probably because, well, the project's still technically quite young in the eyes of most people. It is still quite young in the eyes of most people. So it needs that time to mature. And there was some discussions to say, oh, it would have been nice to have an upgrade path from V1.5 to V1.6 and from V1.5 to V2. But at the same time, we did try and explain as much as possible that there's just limitations with V1.5 that you can't really get around for future development. So it's either we did V1.6 and we only released V1.6, and then we'd have to do V2 again and change everything up, or we bite the bullet, we change everything we need to in V2 now, and then we don't have to do that later. Going back from Germany, I wanted to pick up some parts for my car that would cost me about 40 DKK, guessing that's Denmark. Is that Danish krona? Danish krona, probably. Ended up buying stuff in the hardware shop for 90,000 Danish krona. Nice. Did you go out with the family? Was it a family trip or? Probably better that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Yeah. At least you guys get a view of something. That way. Nice. So we got Jormungand, who decided that he wasn't going to spend much money and then spent a lot of money. What else has everyone else been up to? Today was a bit of a write-off for me. I was meant to have a friend come and visit, but she had some issues with the car, so I spent most of the day waiting for her and she didn't show up. So yeah, it's all right. I got some other stuff done. Ordered parts for my Trident and parts to build a turtle box. Nice. You may have noticed that since last stream, some stuff has changed around here. So like I've put the Trident back into service. I've actually got my switch wire back into service. I noticed something that I'd never tried. Basically, I stopped using the Vorons because they became a bit of a pain, and I just could never get them printing correctly. And then I noticed that I accidentally had the wrong profile on, the profile that I hadn't touched, the default Voron profile in Orca Slicer running. And I said, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna give that a go on my Trident. And it's been working flawlessly ever since. So I did the same thing with my switch wire. And my switch wire started working all of a sudden and not having any of the bed leveling issues. And I don't quite understand why. The only thing I did with the custom profiles I had on was increase the speed a little bit from the default. But they're now both working fine. I've been using them. I'm trying to move away from using my Bamboo Labs. I don't want to become too dependent on them, just in case the worst does happen and we get locked out of them. But having the Vorons around has been really nice. Took my oldest heir. Need to carry a little weight as possible for all the cheap German trees. Nice. I've never been to Germany. It's one of the places I do want to visit at some stage in my life. Maybe I can call Phil. Should we see if we can summon Phil? Right. If you have access to Discord right now, everyone ping Aramco Phil, and tell him to come to stream. Because I like it when he comes and hangs out. And then we can convince him to let me stay at his next summer or something. Yes, the box turtle. Oh, I got really distracted there. The box turtle. Ever since I got the Voron Trident working again, I've kind of got behind the box turtle a little bit more. My opinion's shifted in recent days a little bit. So I kind of really want to do a box turtle build. Whether or not I do it on this channel is a bit of a weird discussion I need to have with myself, because this is meant to be like the development channel, the channel for just Milo stuff. Well, just Millennium stuff, but yeah. Curious as to how people are mounting their magnetic base to the FMJs for tramming, being that they are aluminium. They don't. That's why I've got steel ones. I suppose you could probably just do it with a long bolt and bolt a 1, 2, 3 block on. Isn't the turtle box a speaker? Ekram, how you doing, bud? I got hot dogs in Bitama? Nice. Did you bring some hot dogs in exchange? Nice. Voron works great when properly set up. Got Trident 300 and VZ250. I agree with you. Jose, I agree with you. I've always agreed with that sentiment. The issue is, for me, is I fuck around with things too much. And because I don't know the intent behind Vorons, and I've never got really that deep into tuning them, I assumed that my knowledge wasn't good enough to fix the issues that I was having. And I didn't realize it was just a really simple fix, as in, don't speed the printer up. Just use the profile that comes with Orca Slicer and you'll be fine. And they've been producing really good prints. Like the prints that I've got off my Trident, other than the top surface, I need to work something out for the top surface. But the wall finish has been absolutely insane on them. Like, better than my thingies, my bamboos. You know what? That's something since I moved to the UK 5-6 years ago, I've never had a hot dog here. Actually, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. I've had a hot dog at IKEA, which is the worst decision I ever made. Yeah, they are good starting points. See, the issue was, like, I jump ahead too much with some builds sometimes. And I end up having to refocus myself. So I go for fully modded Vorons first, and I want to put all the cool shiny bits on them. And then I forget the fact that I should have learned on the stock Voron, or just the one that came with the LDO kit. I looked at the profile that was on Orca and said, oh, I can go a little bit faster than that because I've got a CNC gantry and this, that, and I got more powerful motors and this, that, and the next thing. And I completely skipped the stock profile. And then I was having bed leveling issues, and I wouldn't have associated bed leveling issues with the speed of a print. But apparently, that was it. And literally, I went through the profiles that I'd made before. I feel like YouTube algorithm sending me here after thinking about desktop CNC mills as a sign. Hey Pickrick, how you doing? I assume you're brand new to the project and you have no idea why you're here. Is that the case? So I can give you the lowdown. Caffeine, harvest, or some other conversations. Pickrick. Great deals on Milos right now. Yeah, great deals on V1.5s. going back to the conversation I had with the LDO guys, basically, pre-order 1 went really well. They got all 50 kits. Batch 1 sold. Batch 2 sold quite quickly as well. And then they made a batch 3 expecting loads of people to want it. They made I think it was like they made 50 kits, then they made 100 kits, and then they made 200 kits. 200 or 300 kits. And they can't sell the last 100 kits. So yeah, I'm fairly new, but I'm also building a Voron 2.4 now. Nice. Are you new to the... do you know what the project is? Do you know what Millennium is? There's more what I was getting at. Danish hot dogs are different. Bread, sausage, raw onion, fried onion, ketchup, mustard, and pickled cucumber is the base. Yeah, we have about 100 left, not counting retailers. Yeah. Oh, I forget, Jose, you work at forget you work for LDO. Yeah, so just having that conversation was it was a bit weird, because I know we make a good machine. But I'm not very good at vouching for myself when it comes time to it. So I feel like I floundered a lot during the meeting. But yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully they make a V2 batch. I think they will. V1.6 looks like it's going to be a thing, and we talked over the electronics box, and Dave seemed confident that the electronics box could be a thing. I have a rough idea: desktop CNCs and kits. Yeah, pretty much. Same guys who make the Voron kits, the V2.4s from LDO. Same guys who make our kits. We're basically Voron, but for CNC machines. Although Voron is releasing a CNC machine, so that gets kind of complicated. But yeah, sorry for slow typing. I was having a look through the Discord. Oh, time's up, time's up, time's up. Perfect, giveaway time. Okie doke. I'm gonna give everyone 1 more minute. You have 60 seconds. There's a link in the description below if you would like to win yourself a roll of Ambrosia Filament of the Gods from West 3D. All right, sign yourselves up, sign yourselves up. It is valid in the UK and in the US. If you have a friend who lives in the UK or in the US, or family members or whatever, or you can get there, right, to pick it up, you can also enter and just email whoever your contact is on the other side and tell them that you're not the one picking it up. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. You have one minuto. Alright, we have 8 people in the draw so far. Speaking of which, if you are enjoying the stream so far, make sure you give us a like, shoot us a like. It always helps the video out. It helps me get more recognition from the algorithm as a whole, which means that I can put up more and more content and I can stream more and more. It's so much easier. So from what I've seen so far, 1.6 makes initial setup trying easier for the user. Yeah, it fixes some oddities that we had from the STL. So basically, what happened was we started with 1.1, and we kept the same CAD going through 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and we just modified the parts. We very rarely started from scratch on the new part. And that was a mistake I made because I was quite new to CAD, and this was effectively the first project we ever did. So V2 was us fixing all the issues that we had with the CAD, as well as making a new machine that was more performant, had more features, stuff like that. V1.6 came after V2. I know it's a weird order. So V1.6 brings as many of the nice features as we could bring from V2 to V1.5, you just get a few limitations, like because you're using the same plates as V2, and the plates for V2 have a larger base to them. If you're still using the same extrusion, the same rails that you used on your V1.5, your bed area shrinks by 50 millimeters, so it's a 300 millimeter rather than a 340 millimeters. Sorry, it shrinks by 40 millimeters, so it's 300 millimeters over 340 millimeters in the X direction. Anyways, right, I'm going to close this now. Right, let's get these names into my thing. Oh, I forgot to set this up before stream. I forgot to set this up before stream. Right. Screen capture. Oh, it set itself up. Nice. I didn't have to do a thing. It's magic. Right. Ugh, around and around the wheel goes. Where will it land? Nobody knows. David, whoa, whoa. No, this can't be. I swear. Did David, did you win? Oh no, never mind. Never mind. Never mind, that was my bad. It was Pick Rick. Nice, Pick Rick. For someone who's only just arrived, you have some amazing luck. You have some amazing luck. What I did was I moved to another window and it froze the other one. Yeah, definitely beginner's luck. Definitely beginner's luck. So, Pick Rick, can you do me a favor? Because this is the first one of the stream, we normally do one at the end. I'm going to delete all the entries that we have now. It makes it a little bit easier if you DM me your email and all the details that you you already put it, because you were on the Discord. Just DM me those on the Discord. The last message from me was in general, so you can just DM me that, and I'll send all your details away to whoever needs them. It might be Dave from DMS if you're in the UK, and it might be Alan from West 3D. So yeah. And I'll send them your email address and they'll get back to you about everything. Yeah, anyways, getting back to the build. All right, those now are a lot more smooth. I'm just going to check that they do sit above. Yeah, they do sit above. Web animation, yes. Perfect. It's another sign that you need to pick up a Milo. Yeah, pick up a Milo. Jose, since you're with LDO, here's what, in my mind, I think is the best thing to do if you want to get rid of that stock, is we prioritize getting V1.6 out the door. We drop V2 for a few more months and prioritize getting V1.6 tested and out the door. And they use the same plates and as V2 does. So if you get the plates done and make some upgrade kits, people can buy the old stock, do the upgrades, get all that stuff at maybe a discount if you just need to shift it. And then the same plates can then be used when we release V2 later on in the year. That's kind of my imaginings of things, but if not, then yeah. I think that's a better plan, personally. Yep, that's fine. So, sorry, I'm just letting Brisket out. What I'll do is I'll prioritize V1.6. V2 will push back to later on in the year. Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. As much as we'd like to be the independent project that we are, that we can be, we do still need to work with the big companies, because if we don't work with the big companies, we can't fund the development for new machines. So V1.6 it will be for the summer, and then maybe V2 later on in the year. That shouldn't be too bad. Shouldn't be too bad. What am I doing? I need to bring this over here. I still haven't finished this. Ugh. Right, I need some heat inserts next. I need some M3s and I need some M5s. Why do I have M4 heat inserts? I do not remember buying those. Another one of the points that Dave brought up in our little meeting was that, well, CNC machining's messy. They want to have an enclosure like the Voron Cascade will have, but I get that. I do understand that. But I don't see the Cascade coming anywhere near the performance of Milo. I think it'll be a nice little machine, and it'll be nice to have it enclosed, but that format of machine has never historically been a very rigid machine for a start, and very versatile. You quickly grow out of that form factor. That's why kind of Milo is what it is. And for what Milo is, it's a lot cheaper than everything else. Do you ever reach out to one of those machines channels to try out a Milo? Never tried it. Who do you suggest? Would Milo be a solution for more money? Yeah, I mean, we're talking something that's desktop size versus something that is a mini mill, right? The thing is with LDO is their main demographic of users are all people who have 3D printers and expect a desktop machine. So having something that's big, even Miley, so for example, if I built a casa around Miley, the only amount of space I would save is 200 millimeters. I would save that much space compared to how big it already is, which is that big. So that against that, it's not really going to save that much space. You could make the general argument that you do V1.5 plus casa kit, and then you get the enclosure and the enclosure at the same. Huh? You could make the general argument that you do Milo V1 point whatever / V2 plus casa kit, and then you get the enclosure and the enclosure at the same time. You're gonna have to reword that one for me. Minimal enclosure. Yeah, Miley is a solution. You can do a minimal enclosure with Miley. You just have to build it up around the table itself. I think he meant CNC and enclosure. Yeah, you can buy. I'm confused. I'm confused by that. You're gonna start again. Start from zero. Let's do a better job at keeping me in frame, shall I? Maybe not Titans. I don't know. Perhaps Blondie Hacks or Artisan Machinist or someone could be interested. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'd like to. I would really like to do that kind of thing. But the issue is all of those machinists and channels have full-size mills or full-size CNCs. So what are they actually gaining by using Milo? Milo's good. Like, don't get me wrong. I believe in what Milo is. I wouldn't have done all this if I didn't believe in Milo as a platform. But I'm not gonna pretend it's better than a full-size machine. And I just don't think that those kinds of channels, Smaller channels, maybe. Someone like Winston Moy, I'd be... Let's not decapitate myself. There we go. He means a bundle kit with Milo and Casa. See, I would love that. I would love a bundle kit with Milo and Casa. The issue is I've been told by LDO that Casa's too big, so they only do pre-orders of it. They're only doing that initial set of pre-orders. And the issue is LDO have the ability to say no. And I can't do anything about that. So as much as, like I said before, as much as I want to be my own independent project, I have to kind of bow down to LDO at this point. And then LDO is not a bad company. Don't at any point ever think that I'm bashing on LDO here. I'm not. They're a good company. They've done so much for us. They will all forever have my thanks for getting Milo as far as it's come. But I do have to. We do have to kind of temper the fact that they are effectively our bosses at this point in time. I would love to see that right out. Is that for this old Tony? Yeah. This old Tony, I miss him. I feel like after he built the big CNC, after he converted the Maho, his content just got a little bit less interesting. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. The worst that can happen is you get rejected. Yeah, but here's the nice thing. Here's the bit that LDO can't control, right? If V2 doesn't become a kit, if V1.6 doesn't become a kit, if they say absolutely no, the project still continues. It just means that we need to focus more on self-sources. And there's nothing that's going to stop. And it just means that the momentum stops a little bit. This is why it's really, really important that communities support their developers and not just companies. For example, there is a link. There's a PayPal link and a Patreon link down in the description below. If you like what we do, if we want to see the continued development of the Millennium project as a whole, that means Atlas, that means a 3D printer in the future, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that means Milo, that means everything that we are doing here, right? You can show your support down below and it goes directly into supporting me and the project as a whole. The more people that support, the more time I can put towards developing the project forward. I'm self-forced, even using a 400 watt BL spindle instead of BOM 1.5 or 2.2. Fair enough. I don't like those spindles personally, but if it's what you can get, it's what you can get. I'm not going to bash you for it. If it works for you, it works for you. I know I've just moved the camera, but I forgot to do 3 inserts, so I'm going to be awkwardly halfway off screen for a bit. I'm not moving the camera again just for 3 inserts. Call me lazy if you want. Yell at me. Tell me I'm a bad YouTuber. I personally think 1.6 will boost 1.5. Yeah, I agree with you. Because here's the thing, V2 is going to be more expensive. We knew that from the start. We knew that it was going to be a thing that was going to happen. You're not going to be able to get more performance without spending a little bit more buck. So V1.5 and V1.6 by extension are still valid. They're still valid. I actually think if you're doing a steel machine, if you're doing a machine that's specifically made for steel, the V1.6 platform, because it has that rigid mount to the y-axis, right? With that, because their FMJs go all the way down, whereas on the V2, the FMJs don't go all the way down so that you can tram it. If you're building the V1.6 out, that's going to be better at steel parts because you've got less build area, you've got a less tall Z-axis, the Z-axis is mounted rigidly to the Y-axis. You don't get all the benefits of having the V2 style one. But yeah, so just because V2's around doesn't mean that V1.5 or V1.6 is invalid. There's lots of benefits to it. Should we be pitching Milo on Reddit/other Discords? Yes, if that helps. If you can't afford to support the project and you just want to support it in other ways, go ahead, pitch it somewhere else. It's great when that happens. The Z-axis is geared for torque. Don't know what you mean by that, but sure. Charles White, 1000%. Yeah. So here's another thing. The grand thing about Voron, right? And I think it's a thing that everyone forgets. Voron was a project for a very long time before it actually got popular, right? Which meant that they had the opportunity to work out all the kinks before they had to work with companies and slow down what the changes they made were. If you look at it, ever since like Stefan made his video for Voron, the V2.4 has been out for how long, and it hasn't had a major revision. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that's because one of the reasons I think that's happened is because they now have 1 million kits out there that are with consumers, or with resellers, and if they want to support the most people, they can't make too many changes. Yes, you get your revisions, but I'm talking about major changes. So that kind of thing is happening, but that's because Voron had that time beforehand. We never had that time beforehand. We went to V1.4, the next year was V1.5, and they got popular. And at that point, we needed to make some really big changes from V1.5 to be able to secure the longevity of the project. You mean you need another pandemic to push Milo? Yes, bring on COVID. No, actually, don't. I'm not going to say that. Done. Plenty of posts that ignore Milo on. Hello? Hi. Yeah, my mic just died. Sorry. Give me a second. I'm gonna go put this box on charge so that in case this mic dies, I have a backup. Okay. Yep, sorry about that. Hey, Miss Lee Mary, how you doing? Yes. What did I miss? What did I miss? Oh, yes, sorry about that. Sorry, I had to run out. I just ran out of battery. Ran out of battery on one of my things. It happens sometimes. Okay. Right, slight problem. I am missing the compression plate for this piece, but that's fine. That's fine. I can stick it on one of my bamboos now. Just found out I was watching this stream with 1 minute delay. Oh, I do that all the time. I hate it when that happens. It's so annoying. The worst bit is when you try and leave a comment or a super chat or something like that, thinking that you're up to date and you're referring to something, and then the person who's streaming doesn't see your message at all. Does your printed spindle mount have space when clamped down? Space in between the two halves of the spindle mount. Huh? Yes. So, for example, all right, we'll go full webcam actually. So yeah, so spindle mount kind of sits like that. So there is a little bit of space. The circles are slightly, the actual circles are slightly smaller than the size of the spindle itself, so you get loads of clamping space, clamping force. But yeah, they do sit slightly apart. We do have a Milo to build one of these days. Fair enough. Yeah, that's another thing. Voron had, I think, like 700 machines by the time LDO made a kit for them. We have 159. You have metal inside. Yes, so it's called Hearts of Iron. It's a mod that I created for the V1.5 long time ago now. It's a slightly different one. There's technically a standard part for V2 and V1.6. And they come in two variations, well, three variations. You can either print just the part, just the clamp itself, and that's it. You don't have the metal bit inside. You can print it in the half plate version, which is what I have here, where you only have a single piece, a single half iron, and you can do it in the full plate version, which has one here and then another one at the top. Half plate is what we'll be using for this version of V1.6. We need to stop taking on new projects and finish ones we have. What project do you have on? Because you can never have enough projects. It's illegal to not have at least 7 different projects on. I've got a new keyboard and everything's different. I keep pressing home instead of delete. Right, let's open Fusion up so I can get... Oh, I do have to go... Here's something that I need to do. I need to go through everything I've done for V2 and for V1.6, every single part that has an M3 heater insert, and redo it with Voron spec ones, because I was so stubborn. Here's the thing. I really appreciate CNC Kitchen. I really do. I like the guy. He was really kind to me a few months into the whole Milo project, and Stefan is just a good dude. So I always add his inserts and design around his inserts into whatever work I do, because I feel like I owe it to the guy, because he has been like a true inspiration to me. So I've always designed everything around his inserts. The issue is that the Voron spec inserts are different to the ones that he uses. So I have to go through every single one of them now and create an LDO version that has the Voron spec heat inserts. Are we all building stealth changes? No! Right now, Death Racer 4, Remurf, and building a stealth changer are the main two. Tool changes and things like that for Voron scare me, because there's just so many of them. He does sell Voron spec ones, but at the time that V2 started being made, he didn't. The Voron spec ones came after that. So it was either scrap a whole bunch of stuff. Luckily, we're less reliant on heat inserts now on V2 than we were in V1.5. I think we only have 30. And because of the way I designed, I laid out the topology for the assemblies quite well for V2. So a lot of them, the heat inserts are used in the same part, but that part is used in multiple places. So it shouldn't be too hard to actually do the design work that I need to do to change it all, but it's just something I need to sit down and actually do. I know that there are a lot of factors, but what kind of tolerances are you guys getting with 6000 series aluminium on Milos? Depends on how well you build it. It's not uncommon to get 0.05 and below, so about 4 times more accurate than a 3D printer. 4 to like 8 times, somewhere in that range, more accurate than a 3D printer. And I've also seen people get 0.01 millimeter tolerance. It depends how you build it and how well you tune it. Same as a Voron, but definitely more accurate than a Voron. Yes, default answer. Right. I know it looks like I'm not doing anything, but I'm just getting Fusion open and getting the thread plate started. Don't die on me yet, mouse. Right. Yes, I want to print on Mark. Yes, I name all my printers. I gave all my printers names, so I got Mark, Claire, Jenny, Frost, who used to be called Curie, but then I redid it all. Called Cross. Then I got Speedy. I used to have Brian and Jessica, but I just sold those. So yeah. I name all my machines weird things. Obviously, you got Milo, then Atlas, all that kind of stuff. Right, so that's getting printed now. It's getting sent off. We can assemble the internal support now whilst we're waiting. I need to find some stuff. Where's my little boxes that I keep all my bearings in? I expect as much. I work with massive CNCs at my workplace, so my expectations of precision are heavily skewed. Yeah, exactly. I did the video on this recently. If you're looking for step accuracy without micro stepping, I think your resolution is 0.04 if you're using the lead screws, and 0.01, something like that, if you're using the ball screws that we spec. But you can't use the ball screws that we spec on V2, you can't use the ball screws that we spec on V1.5, V1.6, sorry. Right, where are all my bearings? I have 2 boxes somewhere. Nero will never know the pain. Nero and Steve will never know the pain of live streaming a build, but not having a kit. I know Steve will know what it's like to do the development side of it because he did the Trident, but he didn't stream it. All my printers have names. The V0.2 is Svanvid? Am I pronouncing that correctly? A character from Norse mythology, and the old printer is called the Firestarter because it's an AN8. I'm so glad I skipped that part of 3D printing. I skipped that era of 3D printing. I'm so glad. Here's a randomly cool thing. It's not really a cool thing. It's more of there's a little bit of recycling that you can do if you build a V1.6 or V2. If you have crunchy bearings, crunchy 608 bearings that you took out of an old printer or something like that, you can put them in the floating block, right? The floating block doesn't add any precision. All it does is help with screw whip. So when the screw is moving at a really high RPM, it helps stabilize the screw so you can get a higher RPM. So if you've got crunchy ball bearings, 608 ball bearings that you stole from somewhere else, just stick them in here because they're not going to do any harm. As long as they still spin and they aren't going to bind up, they're fine. I need more heat inserts. I have to pop off now, but thank you all for a warm welcome. I'm going to keep an eye on streams for my summer voyage. Nice. Yeah, I stream as much as I possibly can. It's normally once a week, sometimes twice. Hopefully, I can continue like this. I've got a job coming up on the 17th. Start a new job on the 17th, hopefully, as long as the interviews go well. As long as the open day goes well. And I'm hopefully going to keep streaming after that. As for accuracy, at work we have an issue with runner PCB sensors. So they're unusual, 2,000 boards at around $40 each. So going to try a 0.5 mil to modify to see if we can get them working. That's a lot of boards to modify. That's a lot of boards. I feel so bad for the guys who work in manual machine shops who do really basic parts but do thousands of them. And they do exist. Manual machine shops do have a place. And they do exist in the States, where it's just the same guy doing the same operation multiple thousands of times by hand. Obviously, at some stage, it was the way it was always done, but it's not a CNC in sight. That's a really hard sentence to say. Not a CNC in sight. Say that 3 times fast. Manual machine shops uses OI, not AI. Old intelligence? Oh God, I do not envy you, Michael. I do not envy you one bit having to do 2,000 PCBs. Organic intelligence, but all works too. Yeah, yeah. Old but gold and all that. Yes? May I help you? He just burst his way in. Hey, what you doing? I want to be part of the stream. He's been a real pain recently because he gets a lot of treats. He gets a lot of treats because he's gone through all of his initial training, and all of his initial training means that he gets rewarded for the most basic of things. Every single time he sits, he gets a treat. Every single time he comes to me when I call his name, he gets a treat. And that's just part of being a dog owner. It's part of the initial training. You need to teach him that there's always going to be good things when you're about. And we're getting to a point where he's expecting treats all the time, at every single moment. So he just comes to me and he just whines. Right. Come on, you. Ugh. Ugh. Look how big he's gotten. He's now 24 kilos? Yeah, I got him when he was 13. Look at him, look at that face. Don't get camera shy. Don't get camera shy. There we go. Right. You going out again? Okay, you can't come back in afterwards. No, for God's sakes. Really? Really? Alright, get you a treat. Come on. There you go. Go get it. There you go, bud. Brisket definitely wants to be in and out at the same time. He doesn't know where he's going or what he's doing or how he's doing. It doesn't help that the doors in this flat were put on by a Neanderthal, by a blind monkey, because none of them sit square, none of them shut properly. And because they're technically part of the frame, it's a part of the building I don't own. So if you don't know, in the UK you can do this thing where it's a kind of a help to buy scheme, where the real estate agent owns 25% and they effectively own the structure of the building. Cheers, Charles. Thanks for coming. So they effectively own the structure of the building, and you own everything that's inside of the building. So I own everything that's inside. I own all the walls and all the things, but I can't change doors. I'm not allowed to change the doors. I can't fix them. I can't do anything about that. It's just part of the contract. So I'm stuck with these doors that never close. It drives me insane. Where my M5x12's gone? There they are. Found them. Also, on another note, one of our custom one-off units got destroyed. We suspect forklift hit it, but I'm allowed to remake the whole thing out of aluminium on the Milo, which is going to be fun. Nice! What's the unit? Is it another machine or something? Should those doors be changed by some random stranger who comes by without the knowledge, of course? What would happen? Technically, if you break the contract, it's an immediate buyout. As far as my knowledge is, I might be completely wrong here. I might be completely wrong. It's an immediate forced buyout of the building. So they go, okay, we're going to pay the exact same amount that you, we're going to buy the property for the exact same amount that you sold, you bought it for initially, give you all the money, and then you have to leave. Brisket. See what I mean by he's so whiny right now. He's so whiny. Bud. Down. I'm just going to ignore him. Line dual camera barcode recognition sensor for a large food packaging company. Oh, cool. Michael, you always have the most interesting things to say on these streams. Like, it blows me away what you actually do half the time. You go, oh, I do this. I work for a large food packing company. I make machines I make $1 million machines with a mill that costs $1,000. It's so cool. I love it. It's just so random at the same time. So if your door is completely destroyed, you're at the mercy of someone else to keep warm. Pretty much. It's the same with windows. I don't own the windows of my flat. It's such a weird setup. I can punch a hole through the wall if I wanted to. Right, they're absolutely fine with that. I'm totally within my rights to do that, but I can't change the doors and I can't change the windows. It's not just I get it. It's a good thing. It meant that my flat was, so I own the flat. I am a property owner, and that means I get on the property ladder. It means that if I were to buy another house in future, I could use this place as to get a mortgage off of. It is a good thing, and it means that it was 25% cheaper for me to buy this place, and I get all the benefits of being a homeowner. I'm on the property ladder, and there's not very many people my age who can say that. "3D project prototyping lead engineer." Come on. Oh, for God's sake. Why do you want to leave if you just want to come straight back in? Yeah, I bought my house that was also 25% cheaper, but that's because it was basically run down, ruined. Yeah, well, this place was fine. The plumbing's a little bit weird. It's in a beautiful location. I'm 30 seconds away from a park, so it's good. it's nice because it means I can take Brisket out for walks. Why aren't you going in? What's happening here? Oh no, carriages are falling off. I didn't lose any balls. I didn't lose any balls. Right, that's the main thing. Yeah, I'm like an hour away, probably less. I'm like 20 minutes away from the Lake District, so I can go climbing and do all that stuff. Right, bud, you gotta calm down. Oh, you are dropping some though. I think you need to go out. I'm surprised you aren't able to change interior doors. Yeah, it's just what it is. So what I can do is I can get the same way that you get a renter who has something that's wrong with the property and the landlord has to come and fix it. I'm contractually obliged to fix any issues with my part of the building, and they're contractually obliged to fix anything that's wrong with their part of the building. The issue is trying to get them to come round to fix a door, or some doors, is pretty much impossible. And also, I don't really want them to. I don't really want them to come round to my home. It should really be something I'm allowed to do myself, but it's basically a condo here in the USA. Yeah. What is the difference between an apartment and a condominium? They might not understand. So if you can get the remaining 25%, all you have to do is get the broken door or window and ask them to fix it. If they don't, they've breached the contract. Basically, yeah. There's also a benefit for me not to own the last 25%. So I would have to pay tax on the property if I owned it. If I owned it outright. I don't pay tax on the property because I don't own it outright. Or something like that. I can't remember what it is. No, it's not tax. It's not tax. It's not a tax benefit. I don't have to pay building insurance. And I think the building insurance is paid by them, and it's a legal requirement in the UK. You can't own a property and not pay the insurance for it. It's a legal requirement. So if you default on the insurance, you default on the house. I think that's how it works. I'm not too sure. So the cost, because I pay a rent for that last 25%. I pay rent to the guys, but the insurance that they get through being through doing what they do is a much better premium than whatever I could get. So it would actually be more expensive for me month per month to own that last 25% than it would be just to let them have it. Oh no, I'm missing another printed part. I've really got to check this stuff before I commit to doing streams. That's okay. We've got some other stuff that we can do in the meantime. How long have we been streaming for? How long have we been live for? 1 hour and 17. Yeah. Condo you own, the same thing really. One you rent, one you own. You guys pay into homeowner deal that pays as a whole, yeah. We also don't have HOAs here in the UK. We've got the city council, or the town council, depending on whether or not you live in a city or a town, funnily enough. And they allow certain things in the towns to be built, and they have certain things. But nothing as crazy as what I've heard from HOAs in the US. HOAs is a homeowners association, by the way, if you don't know what it is. And they dictate whether or not you're allowed to have a big truck in your driveway, and this, that, and the next thing, or what color you can paint your house, and what flowers you're allowed to grow, etc., etc. They're a really weird, really weird thing that only the States has, as far as I am with it. All right, I need another bearing. All right, this is the good bearing. This is the one that needs to be good. The other two can be shit. This one needs to be good. People complain after signing into it. After signing into an HOA, yeah, I would complain. I'm not surprised people complaining after doing it. In Denmark, some places are blessed both the city/town council and homeowners associations at the same time. God damn it. Are they as petulant as the US ones? So I've had some really bad horror stories from the US ones. Right, I think my print's just finished. Ah, this is hot. Ah, this is just finished. Don't do what I did. Whew, it's hot. Hey, buddy. No idea. I live with a field as my neighbor. Oh, I live with a field as my neighbor, and the next neighbor is also a field. Nice. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. I'm just glad my neighbors are the floors are either good enough at keeping sound at bay, or I've just got really polite neighbors who don't care that I run a CNC machine just above them. Real convenient that they don't care that much. It all comes down to having to deal with people. Is a pain mostly. I agree with you. As a person who has worked as an instructor for rich people who go to Center Parks here in the UK, dealing with people is shit. Dealing with people who don't know what the fuck they're actually doing is worse. Dealing with people who think they know what they're doing and know better than you when you actually are the one doing the job, that's the worst. For an individually owned flat, condos and estates, there is a separate org that owns the land and manages shared resources and spaces, parking, elevators, etc. Yeah. It's like we have the same thing in the UK. It's a maintenance fee. But normally the person who owns the land, I think, has the maintenance fee paid to them, so they're technically the landlords. Sounds like something I would enjoy. Yeah, living with fields is wild. Oh yeah. Do you know? It's funny. It's funny to think. 2 years ago, before I worked with kids, I still work with kids, but I work with families and older people as well, not just the kids and teachers. 2 years ago, when I was working with the parents, the amount of times in a single year that one of my colleagues had to duck because something had been thrown at them, or they had been punched, or this, that, and the next thing, is insane. And people don't realize how often it happens. And it's by all walks of life. It's not just by like poor people or by middle class people. It's by the ultra rich as well. It's by the ultra rich. It's by people at the bottom of the ladder, people at the top of the ladder. Why are people just assholes to service workers and things like that? Home builders creating a community often do not have the clout to get the city to pay for or take over maintenance of sewers, roads, access corridors, parks, etc. So new developments have HOAs too. That sounds like a problem. That sounds like a really bad problem. Like, why is your government not doing that? I just don't get it. But again, not my country, not my culture. I can't judge. I say this after just judging it for the last 20 minutes. But anyways, what I need to do, I need to get this part printed. I swear I had it. I swear I had that part already printed off, but obviously not. V1.6. Not a big deal. It's not a big part printed. Probably do it in the time it takes me to assemble the anti-backlash nut. Save as meshed. Save. And Orca Slicer. Woo. Alright, it'll be 40 minutes. We'll have to see. Right, that's going. Let's assemble an anti-backlash nut. Right. Who in chat has not seen the anti-backlash nut being assembled already? It's the same one that we've done twice already. I don't want to bore people with commenting on it again, unless there's people who actually want to learn how it goes together. Because I know there's definitely all the regulars like Thomas and Jormangan and all that. They'll have seen it already and they probably won't be interested. I have a 1.5. I put thrust bearings on the XY lead screw. XY says lead screws. I'm not completely done, but I'm wondering if your thrust bearings are recessed into the bearing box. Yeah, they are recessed. They peek out by 0.5 millimeter on each side. We don't mind. It's weird. I this is really weird. I haven't used my bamboos in like a week since I've started using borons. The only reason I'm using them now is because they've got the filament that I need low already. It's been loaded in there for like a month. Definitely want to see. Yeah, I'm good with repetition. Cool. Yeah. Okay. In that case, I'll get all the heat inserts and stuff like that, all the boring stuff out of the way, and then I'll go through how it all works again. One side. We'll get rid of that. Why are you missing part of the basement on Casa? My OCD is driving a little bit there. It broke on the way to Smurf, and I just never replaced it. It annoys me too. The issue is it's now way too heavy for me to pick up by myself, and the room's too small to lie it on anything or do what I used to do. Because people forget, if I put one hand on that wall, I'm like a foot away from touching that wall. This is a small room. It's a tiny room. And it was even smaller for a really long time, up until kind of mid last year. This room had a bed in it. Super glue it. No! No. It reminds me of a story I had when I was a kid. So, when I was a kid, my parents left some super glue out. Now, as a dutiful child of like 7 or 8 years old, what do you do with super glue? What do you do with super glue if you're a kid? Right? I'll wait for some responses. Ah, that's hot. Why did I do that? That was dumb. Glue your fingers. So yeah, you've got to glue your fingers. Yeah, so I did a bunch of that. Glue everything. Yes, that's it. So my mum came home one day to find a bunch of coins super glued down to one of her dining room chairs. Now my mother is a smart woman, and she knows how to get her own back. So instead of chastising me or smacking me or anything like that, I come home from school one day and she says, "Jake, come here. I've got some friends coming around in about 20 minutes and they're having a baby. They'd really like to see what kind of toys to get their kids. Do you mind going into your room and going up to your bookshelf and bringing me one of the toys that's on there?" So I toddle off. I go into my room, and from wherever my mum is standing, all she hears is me scream. And I'm stood in front of the bookcase with a look of horror on my face. My mum walks up to me and whispers behind my ear to make sure that I never do anything with super glue again, because what she's done is she's taken all my toys and she's super glued them down to the bookshelf. That's the level of pettiness I grew up with from my mother. In all fairness, I never did again. Right. So, easy peasy lemon squeezy. First things first that you're going to do is you have two parts of your compression plate. You have, I'm going to put this on webcam. You have the compression plate and you have the main body, right? These fit together kind of like that. But obviously one's going to move about quite a bit. So, first things first is we're just going to install the brass nuts. You're going to have a brass nut on this side, you're going to have a brass nut on the plate. So I'll just get that done. I just get my... That's a bit harsh. Yeah, my mum was like that growing up. I was a kid who grew up in Africa, where consequences could be much worse. So my parents had to teach me quick. My grandparents left England and moved to the US and started a family. Okay. Worst I did, luckily, with PVA was coated my hand, then stylized my hair with it. I was about 7 when I did that. Nice. I live in Legoland. Apparently, we're more forgiving around here than most places with our kids. Yeah. I feel like every culture says that they're harsh on their kids, they raise them right. When in actuality, most places are the same. People don't really change. This is my experience. Look, culture changes a little bit. Changes a little bit. Personalities don't change that much. And people, you'll always find the same people no matter where you go in the world. It's like people talk about Japan and how honorable a culture it is and this, that, and the next thing, but you'll still find thieves. Why is that? I think that's way too long. I've got the wrong fastness. You'll still find thieves, you'll still find gangsters, you'll still find people who are willing to break the law. And in the same way, you'll still find happy people. You'll still find people who don't fit social norms or this. People don't change from country to country. The only thing that divides people, believe that there's something that divides us. Everything seems to be broken on my end. As in the stream stuff or the stuff in Denmark, in Legoland? Cool, so the brass inserts are, well, as their name suggests, inserted. I'm going to take, now, go back to the webcam. I'm going to take my threaded rod, I'm going to thread it through the main body side. The reason I thread it through the main body side is you'll see in a minute, it just helps me with the installation of, oh my god, this is a really crusty screw. I have a backup screw, but this is a really crusty one. The stream is lagging for me. The stream has gone very choppy. Ooh. Stream stuff seems a bit on the glitchy side. Yeah, same for me. Okay, I'll double check. Good now. Anyone else having any issues? Or are we good? We good? We're not. Is it because of my camera? Is it the camera that's the issue? Sometimes that can be an issue. Good. Right, we've had 2 goods. Okay, let's get back to it. Yeah. Might just be the camera. Oh yeah, that's much better. So what I've done is I've threaded this part through here. All right, so it peeks out just a little bit. It doesn't need to be much, just a little bit. And that's going to help me put my Belleville washers on without them falling off. Now, these are Belleville washers or spring washers. If you look closely, they don't sit flat. They have a concavity to them. Right? And the idea is that if you press 2 of them together and press them down, when you release them, they're going to try and attempt to press away from each other, and that's how we're going to put the pressure on the anti-backlash nuts. So we need to install those on the end here, and that's why it's good to have the screw in, because it means that the screw holds everything in place for a little bit whilst we're installing everything. I need some M3x40s now. These M3x40. Oh, those are M2x35. M3x30. M3x50 and M3x40. So, in addition to the 2 Belleville washers, because we want to limit the rotation that the plate has when it's installed, we also need to install 2 of these very tiny pins. Oh, stream is stuck again for me. Basically, they're going to act like springs. Yeah. Are we back? Are we not? Back. I'm confused. I think my internet's just dying. We back? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay. If this continues, I'm just going to end the stream here. But we'll trudge on forward for now. Trudge on forward for now. Someone chewing on your router. No, he's down by my feet. He hasn't chewed on my router this time. Seems some people. I think it's just an internet thing. I think it's the time of night where everyone in my neighborhood will be hopping on the internet. So, and we've only got copper cable around here. We don't have fiber. So that might just be it. Okay. I'll get back to where I was. So the 2 pins that I installed just now stop the plate from rotating once they're installed. The Belleville washers act as springs, and you start off with 2. If you can't get enough preload, you go to 3. If you can't get enough preload, you get to go to 4, etc., etc., etc. I know from the other ones that I installed recently that 3 is going to be a good amount. And then I want to close this off. I want to push this back on down. Now, here's the fun part. This needs to be pressed down, and you need to remove the screw, because otherwise the threads won't line up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some M3x40s ready in the slots above to start tightening them down the moment I move that screw out the way. And just to make the process a little bit quicker, I'm going to use... Oh, I don't have the right insert in. I don't have the right tip in. You don't need to do all 4, but at least get 2 in, because it's going to make installation a lot easier if you have at least 2 points of collect. Ooh. Perfect. So if you look really close in here, the Belleville washers are kind of starting to slide out. The reason they're starting to slide out is mostly to do with the fact that, well, the reason they're not sliding out is because I've got that screw there. That's why I installed the screw first. But it does look like they've shifted a little bit, so I'm going to try and ease them back into position. Have to go. Have fun, everyone. No worries. Cheers, Yeoman. Thanks for coming as usual. So now they're sat on the brass insert, and they actually, the OD of the brass insert goes in the ID of the Belleville washers. So I'm now going to tighten all of these down and add 2 more screws. Oh, and I just dropped one of the Belleville washers. Yay. There you go. Until you start tightening, the Belleville washers have a tendency to fall out. So just be careful at this point. Make sure they stay in there. Oh, I need to get a new insert for that. And it's gone again. Oh God. Is everyone gone? Is there someone still here? Still here. Just shout yourselves off in chat. I'll refresh too. Oh, my Wi-Fi is quite slow. Yeah, I think it's my end. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it's my end because I can't even get into YouTube now. I can see you guys on OBS. I can still see that you're still here. But I can't. YouTube won't even load for me. YouTube won't even load for me. So I'm afraid this is probably a good time for us to end the stream before it gets any worse, because it does seem to be getting worse. I see John Thompson, first time here. I'm sorry about that. I know it's your first time, but it seems like I'm having some internet issues on my end, so it's probably a good time for me to end the stream. Thank you for coming, though, and join us for some other streams in future. We'd love to have you. But I'm going to end the stream here. We'll do... too late to do the giveaway. We did the giveaway at the beginning of the stream, so I'm not feeling second giveaway today because I can't even see what's happening on YouTube. We'll save it for another time. But thank you for all for coming. I really do appreciate every single time someone shows up for stream, and especially appreciate the people who interact on stream, because it makes my life a whole lot better, a whole lot easier, and a whole lot nicer. Right? If you do want to support me in any other ways, there are some links down below to a Patreon and to a PayPal link. So if you want to support me monetarily, send me a $5, even a buck. Every little bit helps and contributes to the overall longevity of the project.